Have you ever wondered if something as simple as the food on your plate could quietly repair both your memory and your eyesight while you sleep? Or questioned why some seniors remain sharp and focused into their 80s, while others struggle with blurry vision and forgetfulness years earlier? And what if the secret isn't hidden in expensive pills or exotic superfoods, but in 3 humble dried fruits you might already have sitting in your kitchen right now? Hello, I am Dr. Nana. For over 30 years, I've helped older adults reclaim their health naturally. If this is your first time here, welcome to Senior Health Boost. Make sure to subscribe if you want practical, science-backed ways to stay sharp, independent, and confident after 60. Now let me ask you something personal. Do your eyes struggle to adjust when you drive at night? Do streetlights blur into glowing starbursts? Have you ever walked into a room, paused, and suddenly forgotten why you were there or hesitated for a moment to recall a familiar name? You're not imagining it. These aren't just senior moments. They're warning signs, signals from your eyes and your brain that deeper changes are quietly unfolding. At first, the signs creep in slowly. Reading fine print becomes harder. Following the evening news takes more effort. Then come the misplaced glasses, the missed appointments, and that unsettling pause when you look at someone you love, but their name doesn't surface right away. I know how frightening that feels. Losing control of your vision and memory doesn't just affect your independence, it chips away at your confidence, your identity, and your ability to stay connected with the people around you. But here's what most people never hear from their doctor. The damage isn't always permanent. In fact, your body has built-in repair systems, especially during sleep. And when you give your body the right nutrition, you can support those systems naturally without relying solely on pills or costly therapies. That's why in this video, I'm going to share 3 powerful dried fruits. They're affordable, easy to find, delicious to eat, and may help your brain and eyes repair overnight. Each one works in a different way. But the last fruit, well, it has an especially surprising impact on memory clarity, retinal strength, and even emotional calm, all while you rest. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a simple bedtime-friendly ritual that could help you wake up with sharper vision and a clearer mind. No gimmicks. No quick fixes, just real food and real science. Let's begin with the first fruit, a food so prized by ancient healers for both mind and sight that it has been cherished for thousands of years. The humble fig. At first glance, figs may seem ordinary, but inside each one lies a potent blend of compounds your brain and eyes crave, especially as you age. Figs. Nutrition for the eye slits. Start with vision. Figs are one of the rare dried fruits naturally rich in lutein and zeaxanthin. These 2 carotenoids accumulate in the retina, particularly in the macula, the small but critical area responsible for sharp central vision and adjusting to low-light conditions. As we grow older, the density of these protective pigments declines. And when that shield thins, the retina becomes far more vulnerable to blue light damage, oxidative stress, and degeneration. Think of lutein and zeaxanthin as your body's internal sunglasses. They filter harmful wavelengths and neutralize reactive oxygen species before they can harm the delicate photoreceptor cells in your eyes. Low levels of these pigments have been strongly linked to early macular degeneration and poorer contrast sensitivity, making night driving and reading in dim light much more difficult. Figs and the brain. Oh, let's move from your eyes to your brain. Figs are also packed with vitamin B6, an essential nutrient for synthesizing neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and GABA. These chemicals regulate memory, mood, and restful sleep. Without enough B6, your brain struggles to convert food into the neurochemical fuel it needs, leading to foggy thinking, emotional instability, and disrupted circadian rhythms. But there's more. Figs are naturally rich in polyphenols such as quercetin and anthocyanins. These compounds have been shown to reduce neuroinflammation, a root cause of memory decline. In fact, a 2021 study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that diets rich in polyphenol-containing fruits like figs were associated with greater hippocampal volume and faster working memory response times in adults over 60. And here's another unique benefit. Figs provide a gentle, natural dose of glucose. While we often think of sugar as harmful, during sleep, the brain relies on glucose to power the glymphatic system, your brain's waste-clearing network that removes toxins and metabolic byproducts. With steady nighttime intake, figs may enhance this cleansing process, supporting long-term brain regeneration. Don't overlook fiber either. The prebiotic fiber in figs feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which then produce short-chain fatty acids. These tiny compounds are key messengers in the gut-brain axis, influencing not just digestion, but also cognition and even visual processing. Figs, then, are far more than a sweet snack. They're a natural, multi-layered support for both your brain and your eyes. And they're only the beginning, because the next dried fruit I'll share works in a completely different way, offering another layer of protection for your memory and vision. We just saw how figs can serve as quiet protectors for both your brain and your vision, creating the right internal environment for repair during sleep. But figs are only the beginning. Let me share with you what happened when one of my patients tried them. Carol, a 67-year-old former librarian, had spent years straining her eyes under dim reading lamps and poring over tiny print. She began a simple habit to soak figs each night before bed. Within a few short weeks, she noticed something surprising. The late-night eye strain that once made reading uncomfortable began to ease. Even more, her morning routines felt sharper. She recalled names more quickly and misplaced fewer items. Now, are figs a miracle cure? Of course not. But when used as part of a nourishing nighttime ritual, they help create the very conditions your eyes and brain need to rest, protect, and perform at their best. And that brings us to the next fruit. It may be one of the smallest in your pantry, but its impact on oxidative stress in the retina and the brain is massive. Let's talk about raisins. Raisins, tiny, but mighty for eyes and memory at first glance. Raisins may seem ordinary, sweet little bites you toss into oatmeal or trail mix. But don't let their size fool you. Raisins deliver a powerful punch when it comes to preserving brain sharpness and protecting vision, especially as you sleep. What makes raisins so valuable for older adults isn't simply their natural sweetness. It's their concentrated mix of polyphenols, boron, and natural iron, 3 nutrients with distinct roles in defending the retina, improving memory, and fueling repair overnight. Raisins and oxidative stress. Let's start with oxidative stress, the silent saboteur behind both age-related macular degeneration (AMD) and cognitive decline. With age, our cells are exposed to an unending stream of free radicals, tiny unstable molecules that damage tissues if left unchecked. Raisins are loaded with flavonoids and phenolic acids, particularly resveratrol, the same compound often praised in red wine studies. Resveratrol has a rare ability. It crosses both the blood-retina and blood-brain barriers. That means it can reach the sensitive tissues of your eyes and brain, where it acts as a neurovascular protector. How? By calming inflammatory pathways and preventing oxidative damage to fragile photoreceptor cells in the retina and to neurons themselves. In short, it helps shield the very tissues most vulnerable to aging. A 2020 study published in Nutrients confirmed this effect. Researchers found that regular raisin consumption improved overall antioxidant capacity in older adults. It also reduced key markers of systemic inflammation, markers strongly linked to retinal thinning and hippocampal atrophy, 2 hallmarks of age-related decline. Put simply, raisins may slow the structural breakdown of the tissues responsible for both sight and memory. Boron, the overlooked mineral. But resveratrol isn't the only reason raisins matter. They're also a source of boron, a trace mineral many of us overlook. Boron plays a quiet but essential role in calcium metabolism, visual coordination, and short-term memory processing. Studies show that inadequate boron levels are linked to slower reaction times, weaker hand-eye coordination, and difficulty maintaining visual focus, especially in adults over 60. For older adults who already struggle with balance or clarity, this can be the difference between confidence and caution. Iron in circulation. If their gift inside raisins is natural iron. As we age, even mild anemia becomes more common. When iron levels are low, hemoglobin can't deliver oxygen efficiently. That means your optic nerve and brain cells don't get the steady fuel they need, particularly at night, when your body is actively repairing itself. Raisins support hemoglobin and oxygen transport. Better oxygenation translates to better cellular repair, sharper morning alertness, and stronger resilience against fatigue. Gentle energy for nighttime cleanuppies. Raisins contain natural glucose. But unlike refined sugar, their fiber slows absorption, providing a steady energy release. Why does this matter? Because your brain's lymphatic system, the overnight cleaning crew that clears out cellular waste and protein buildup, requires glucose to function efficiently. During deep sleep, the system sweeps away metabolic byproducts, including beta-amyloid proteins tied to memory loss. Raisins, with their balance of fiber and glucose, offer just enough fuel for this crucial process without spiking blood sugar or disturbing rest. Walter's store. Let me share another example. Walter, a 73-year-old retired engineer, used to complain about waking up mentally sluggish. His mornings felt heavy, and his peripheral vision seemed dimmer. He was frustrated. He loved solving puzzles and playing Sudoku, but his focus just wasn't there. I suggested a small change. Instead of his usual late-night cookie, he swapped in a modest handful of unsweetened raisins about an hour before bed. Within 4 weeks, Walter reported something remarkable. His mornings felt lighter. His thinking was quicker. And with a grin, he even joked, "Doc, my Sudoku times are finally getting faster again." That's the power of small, consistent choices. Tiny steps that quietly add up. Why raisins work best at night. What makes raisins particularly suited for bedtime? It's the way they support both visual processing speed and mental alertness during the very hours when your body's repair systems are most active. Instead of overwhelming your system, they provide gentle, steady resources for recovery. It's easy to underestimate them, but when consumed mindfully, just a small handful, they can support both sharper memory and stronger eyes, especially after 60. Looking ahead so far, we've seen how figs nourish the retina and brain, and how raisins protect delicate tissues from oxidative stress while fueling repair. But there's another dried fruit I want to share with you. One that doesn't just protect, it actively calms your mind, supports deeper sleep, and sets the stage for powerful overnight regeneration. This next fruit may surprise you. It's sweet, satisfying, and often dismissed as just a dessert food. But behind that sweetness lies a dense nutritional profile tailor-made for recovery, not just energy. Let's talk about dates, perhaps the most underestimated dried fruit when it comes to supporting the aging brain and tired eyes, especially while you sleep. We've seen how figs can nourish your eyes, and raisins can shield your brain from oxidative stress. Now let's look at a fruit that not only fuels your body with steady energy but also calms your nervous system for deep overnight repair. Dates, ancient fuel for modern eyes and minds. One of the most overlooked strengths of dates is their mineral content. Magnesium, a nutrient often depleted in older adults, plays a critical role in how the brain learns and remembers. It helps regulate endoreceptors, which act like tiny switches for memory formation. When magnesium levels run low, as they often do in people over 65, cognitive decline becomes more likely. Dates provide a gentle, plant-based source of this mineral. By doing so, they can ease nighttime anxiety, calm brain inflammation, and reduce sleep disruption. But magnesium is only part of the story. Dates are also rich in potassium, which supports smooth electrical signaling from the retina to the brain. Without steady potassium levels, the optic nerve struggles to transmit visual messages clearly. Add in vitamin B6, which helps your body produce neurotransmitters like dopamine and GABA, and you begin to see why dates create a calming effect on both your brain and your visual system. Together, these nutrients reduce nighttime eye strain and help your mind settle into true rest. Science to back it up. Several studies highlight these effects. A 2022 review in Nutrients found that date fruit extract reduced neuronal cell death and improved spatial memory in aged rodents. Human trials are limited, but the underlying mechanisms, antioxidant activity, neuroprotection, and anti-inflammatory effects are highly relevant to aging adults. And remember, dates aren't some trendy superfood. They've been consumed for thousands of years, not just as a source of energy, but as a food for clarity, focus, and emotional balance. A patient's story. Take Linda, a 70-year-old widow who often struggled with restless nights. She had trouble falling asleep and frequently woke up disoriented or anxious. I suggested she try 1 or 2 soft medjool dates about 45 minutes before bed. The results were simple yet powerful. Linda reported falling asleep more easily, staying asleep longer, and waking up with a clearer head. She said she could remember names, details, and even where she left her keys, something she hadn't experienced in years. It wasn't magic. It was simply giving her brain and eyes the right environment to recover overnight. That's what dates can do. Not cure everything, but gently invite the body back into balance. Bringing it all together, a dried fruit ritual. Know that we've covered figs, raisins, and dates. The next question is practical. How do you actually use them together in a way that sticks? The good news is you don't need a complicated plan. Just like brushing your teeth or dimming the lights, this is about creating a calming evening habit, a ritual your body learns to expect. Here's the routine I often recommend. Figs. 2 soaked figs about an hour before bed. Soaking them for 6-8 hours softens the texture, aids digestion, and improves nutrient absorption. Raisins, a small handful, about 1 tablespoon of unsweetened raisins. Choose plain varieties without added sugar. These bring polyphenols and boron in just the right dose. Dates, finish with 1 soft medjool date, ideally organic. Sweet, satisfying, and rich in calming compounds. It's not about eating large amounts of dried fruit. It's about rhythm and balance. Each one supports a different aspect of recovery. Figs for neurotransmitters and retinal clarity, raisins for antioxidant defense and circulation, and dates for calm energy and deep brain repair. How to make it work: combine them in a small bowl, or enjoy them one by one with a cup of warm herbal tea. Chamomile or fennel work especially well. Just give yourself 30-60 minutes before lying down to allow gentle digestion. And remember, this ritual isn't about instant results. The real benefits come over time as your body experiences more predictable nourishment, reduced inflammation, and steadier overnight recovery. I've seen patients who started sleeping through the night again. Others noticed their early morning memory felt clearer and sharper. Some even said they relied less on bright reading lamps or their phone's flashlight. It's not a miracle cure. It's a foundation. And for people over 60, building a reliable foundation for memory and vision is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Looking ahead. So if you're wondering whether it's too late to repair what's been lost, let me reassure you, it's not. These small nightly choices add up. With figs, raisins, and dates, you're not forcing your body, you're inviting it. And in the final part of this video, I want to share one last thought. A message of hope for anyone who has ever worried that fading memory or blurry night vision is just the price of aging. Because you haven't missed your chance. Let me explain. In our closing section, many of my patients once believed decline was automatic, like a dimmer switch slowly turning down with each passing year. They thought blurred vision, forgotten names, and restless nights were simply the price of aging. But that's not the full story. Not even close. Because the truth is this. Your brain and your eyes, even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, still hold the remarkable capacity to heal, to adapt, and to recover. No, it may not look exactly like it did in your 30s, but clarity, steadiness, and confidence can return in ways that truly transform your daily life. And it doesn't come from miracle pills, expensive treatments, or trendy fads. Real change comes from small, intentional habits repeated with consistency, especially at night, when your body is primed for repair. 3 simple dried fruits, taken calmly and consistently, can help create the internal environment your brain and eyes need. Not magic, just nourishment, given at the right time, in the right way. The power of small, repeated habits. Think about it this way. You don't have to change everything overnight. Healing doesn't demand sweeping, overwhelming changes. It begins with just 1 bowl, 1 pause before bed, 1 act of nourishment repeated night after night. Over time, those choices send your body a signal. It's safe to rest. It's time to repair. This is how fog begins to lift. How mornings start to feel clearer. How driving at dusk becomes less stressful. And how the frustration of forgetting names or misplacing keys becomes less frequent. Each gentle step builds a stronger foundation for the days ahead. You are not broken, and if you're feeling discouraged, please listen closely. Maybe you've been forgetting names more often, or struggling with glare from headlights at night. Maybe your confidence feels shaken, and you wonder if things will only get worse from here. I want you to know you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not broken. Your body is wiser than we often give it credit for. It is waiting, even now, for the right signals. What you eat, how you rest, the rituals you choose tonight, those are the signals that tell your body, repair, restore, rebuild. That's why something as small as figs, raisins, and dates before bed can matter so deeply. Not because they're magical, but because they work in harmony with the design your body already carries within it. A message of hope. Over the years, I've seen remarkable changes in patients who thought they had already passed the point of no return. Seniors who believed their best days of clear vision and steady memory were behind them. But with simple changes like soaking figs, swapping cookies for raisins, or adding 1 soft date before bed, they begin to notice shifts. Not overnight miracles, not dramatic transformations, but steady improvements. Sleeping through the night again, waking with clearer mornings, reading with less strain, recognizing faces without hesitation. These shifts gave them back not just function, but dignity, independence, and joy. And that is why I share this message with you, to remind you that it is not too late. You still have agency. You can still nurture the clarity you deserve. Thank you truly for staying with me all the way to the end of this video. It means a great deal that you've taken this time to care for yourself, to learn, and to take one more step toward better health. If this video gave you hope, inspired you, or helped you understand your body in a new way, I would be honored if you clicked like. Share it with someone you love, a spouse, a friend, or a parent who may be noticing the same struggles. And most importantly, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe to Senior Health Boost. By subscribing, you'll join a growing community of people over 60 who want safe, natural, and practical ways to protect their eyes, strengthen their memory, and reclaim their independence. Every week, I'll share new insights, science-backed strategies, and encouraging stories to help you live with clarity and confidence. You deserve to wake up with clarity. You deserve to see the world and your own life in focus again. And the journey back doesn't have to wait for tomorrow. It can begin tonight, with something as simple as a fig, a raisin, and a date. So, take that pause. Prepare your small bowl. Let it become your nightly ritual, your invitation to rest, to repair, and to rise renewed. This is Dr. Nana, and from my heart, I thank you for allowing me into your evening. May you find peace tonight, vision tomorrow, and hope every day forward. Sleep well, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video.